my spider friends, Apprentice fans, and anybody else who might be here to watch this video. This week on The Apprentice, the teams had to sell a day excursion. Now, they've done this task before in previous years, other things. I think it was Belgium when they did the Segway tours, and they got lost and they didn't know where they were going. And they did one in South Africa one year, where one team did a wine tasting and the other team more sensibly did a safari tour, because if you're going to go to South Africa, why on earth would you go to a wine tasting instead of a safari tour? This week it was day excursions in Wales, and shockingly, this is one of the first times I've seen them do this task where I actually thought that they definitely could have sold them for more money. So Catherine's team was the team who lost, and their tour was a zip line, a mine tour, and a cheese tasting. And the RRP for this was 85, and genuinely I think that they could have sold the tickets for 90. Certainly the sales team definitely let them down, and Amy was absolutely the right person to go, because this is the third or fourth week that Amy has dodged completely being the PM and tried to push somebody else to be PM. And her and what's his name, Aaron? Is it Aaron? I don't know. They were oh yeah, we're dead good salespeople, we're going to sell so much, we're really good at sales. I'm a holiday rep, she's an entertainer. What could go wrong? Well, I'll tell you what could go wrong. They went, oh, £85 a bit too much, we'll try and sell them at 70. £70! Nothing. That is nothing. That's an £8 profit. They knew how much Catherine had paid for the tickets, so they had to sell them. And the thing is that they weren't selling the tour. They were mentioning the quarry, but they weren't really talking about everything else that was part of the tour. They weren't talking about look, it's 85 quid, that's your transport, a zipline experience, a tour through this quarry mine, and a cheese tasting with free cheeses and things, and your opportunity to buy fresh cheeses that are artisanal cheeses that have been freshly made. They weren't selling this. All they were focused on was the quarry, and it was unless it was a quarry where they filmed Doctor Who cares about the quarry? Sell them on the zip line, that's the fun part. Sell them on the cheese. Who doesn't love cheese? Everybody loves cheese. I don't know why this was so hard for them to sell. I really don't know. This is also one of the few weeks where Akshay hasn't complained, a complete idiot of himself, as he has every other week, although he was talking to that Italian bloke who was no, I'm busy tomorrow, mate. And Akshay's no, well, do you like whiskey? And the bloke's I don't like whiskey, but I'm still busy tomorrow. Oh my God. The other team, their tour was tour and vintage train, some historical things, a watercolour painting session, and a whiskey tasting. And somehow that team won. Somehow, despite that actually being the worst tour between the two of them. I don't know. I mean, I'm saying that as a person who would actually quite like a watercolour experience. I think that would be quite nice, actually. But I think that's a much harder... I think you're getting less for your money with their version of the tour than the other team was. Definitely, absolutely. And the fact that, once again, I mean, this was Akshay's fault, but they forgot the tip jar as well, even though they did win the task. But what a bunch of idiots. What an absolute bunch of idiots. Catherine, right, I would have been so angry with Lord Sugar if Catherine had gone home, because in my opinion, she didn't deserve to go home, and I'm glad she didn't, because she pushed herself forward and she was working hard. Nobody else was stepping up, and she's look, I've not done this. I've done event management. It's kind of close, but I don't really know what I'm doing. I need support. And the team went, she is PM. Are we going to support her? Maybe. You know, Catherine was doing her very, very best in that task at absolutely everything. Now that bloke saying like, oh well, I would have actually gone to 50, but they didn't push me hard enough. I wouldn't have tried to push that bloke to 50. That bloke was scary. That bloke was like, I would have been scared that he'd have gone like, sod off, I'm not selling you tours for anything. This is one of the very few times that I don't agree with like Karen and Tim, because they're like, you could have pushed him, but he really did not give that impression. He really did not give the impression that he could be pushed any further on price. In fact, I'm honestly surprised they got as low as they did, considering what he was asking them to pay. Catherine did her very best. I'm very glad she didn't go, because she carried that task, and Catherine is now one of my favourites, I think. She has impressed me with her vigour and her hard work, and I am hoping Catherine is going to get into the final 5. Is there anybody else from that team standing out to me? I mean, Harps was... they said that she wasn't really pushing and stuff, but to be honest, I mean, she's done better in tasks than some of the other people. I just kind of feel like absolutely the right person went home this week with Amy going home. She was not... I don't think she was going to do any better than what she'd already done in the tasks. For the other team, you had, what's her name? Like, I have a photographic memory. Do you? Do you, love? Do you? No, you have a photographic memory. Why weren't you doing the tour then? Why were you leaving Nick to go, oh, look at this agriculture, as the tractor goes past. Look, there are sheep. There are a lot of sheep in Wales. Did you know that there are a lot of sheep in Wales? That over there, that's a really big hill. Really big hill. Why people leave Nick in charge of anything, I quite frankly, I just don't know. Because that was a disaster as well. But, I mean, apparently people sort of viewed it as so bad it was good. So, you know, nobody asked for refunds, which is quite unusual on one of these type of tasks as well. When it comes to The Apprentice, You're Fired, the after show, I've been an avid watcher of the after show for many years. But the host, the current host, Tom Allen, I don't think he's very good. Like, Dara O'Brien was amazing at the role. Rod Gilbert is like one of the funniest men alive, and he was brilliant doing the show. Tom Allen doesn't seem to, like, I don't know, he doesn't really seem to watch the show like other previous hosts have done. He doesn't, like, pull, like, parts of the show that I would pull. Like he doesn't seem to highlight certain things or certain, like, character traits of really stupid things that the candidates have said that have been, like, really funny. He's not, like, pulled any of these together, and I really kind of hope that next season there'll be a new host of The Apprentice, You're Fired, somebody who's maybe a bit more invested in The Apprentice, who could share that enthusiasm like Dara was and like Rod was. Because I don't think he watches the show, to be honest. He just kind of goes, the production team gave me some clips and here they are. Like, nobody pulled on the thing of, who was it, Sophie, who was like, Malachite is one of the strongest crystals ever invented. For a start, crystals aren't invented. It's a mineral. It's created in the earth from the ground. It's not crystals aren't invented. Someone isn't sat in a lab going, do you know what today I'm gonna do? I'm gonna invent some amethysts. That's That's not how it works. No. So, like, there's been a lot of really, really funny moments this season that, like, the after show isn't, like, picking up on. And I kind of feel that that almost lessens The Apprentice itself, because the finale is always tied through the after show. So that's my opinion. Next week, they are doing a task involving driverless cars. Do we remember the last time they did a car task? And you had Elizabeth chasing chickens. And you had that, like, medieval English village thing. And people weren't actually sure that they were advertising cars. You know, that whole thing. I'm sure this is going to be just as entertaining.